Leading Jewish organisations in Australia have condemned the Foreign Minister's comments about taking steps towards a ceasefire in the Middle East, while cautioning Labor against embracing narratives that demonise the State of Israel. Joining me now is Dr Colin Rubenstein, who's Executive Director of the Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council. Thanks for your time. So what specifically did you take issue with in terms of these comments from the Foreign Minister?
Well, look, Tom, the problem is that any move towards a ceasefire without the release of the 240 hostages being held by Hamas and very concrete, effective moves to dismantle Hamas's military infrastructure, end its rule over Gaza, that effectively amounts to a call for victory for Hamas. And we all know there's a murderous, barbaric, medieval, genocidal organisation, and they've made it clear that, of course, they will reboot and regroup and continue with their genocidal attempts, not only to wipe out Israelis and destroy Israel, but, of course, inflict misery on the long-suffering Palestinian civilians in Gaza as well. So it's a misconceived plea, I'm afraid, and quite disturbing that Australia is completely out of line with our major allies, with the United States and the United Kingdom. Even in the United Kingdom, British Labor leader Keir Starmer pointed out a ceasefire will only freeze this conflict, leave hostages in Gaza, Hamas with the infrastructure and capability to keep carrying out the sorts of attacks we saw on October 7. And former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have said the same, former President George W. Bush, even Senator Bernie Sanders has made similar points. So we're saying we're disappointed, we're disturbed. We really feel our government and Senator Wong in particular should understand this very basic, I think, and undeniable reality.
Does it come a bit chicken and egg? Because Hamas is now saying they won't release any more hostages. Now, they're citing supplies to the hospital. I know that Israel, the government, is saying fuel was sent but didn't arrive because it was intercepted, essentially, but that if the action continues, the military action from Israel, then there won't be more hostages released. So are we at a stalemate in that regard?
Well, we're not at a stalemate. The Israeli forces are surrounding Hamas. It's a very invidious situation and dilemma they confront, given that Hamas engages in double war crimes, as we all know, war crimes every day and firing rockets on Israel, the bestiality we saw on October 7, but also war crimes on their own people in militarising hospitals and mosques and schools and playgrounds. And there's incontrovertible evidence they're using Al-Shifa Hospital and other hospitals as major command and control centres, repositories of their weapons, rocket launching sites. And we see, again, false allegations about Israel targeting hospitals. They're doing everything possible to avoid civilian casualties. Any suggestion that Israel's not complying with the rules of law to the utmost, frankly, are just false. And we're also very concerned about the claims from the Foreign Minister, her plea that Israel cease attacking of hospitals. Really? The hospitals have been turned into military entities by Hamas, and Israel is doing its very, very best to get civilians to go south to safety. And, of course, we know that Hamas rocket fires, 1 in 5 misfire and have fallen on hospitals, and even claims they've fallen on the courtyards outside Al-Shifa. So these are the realities.
I'm just going to jump in, Colin, because we're nearly out of time. As to the alternative, so if Israel is successful in destroying Hamas, I know they say military capability, but obviously they don't want them in government there effectively. What is the alternative? Because the Palestinian Authority, in the eyes of a lot of Palestinians, has been seen as ineffective in advocating for them because of expansion of settlements in the West Bank. Has that been a bit of an own goal from the Israel government to allow for them, because it makes the Palestinian Authority look ineffective and appears in some elements, for some people, to have increased support for Hamas in Gaza?
Look, the Palestinian Authority has been offered genuine peace deals on numerous times by the Israeli government on both sides of the fence. And they have rejected the offer of a Palestinian state alongside Israel in peace. In 2001, 2008, even the negotiations in 2014 met with no response from Israel. So the issue of the settlements is really a furphy. Israel offered in those peace deals to provide equivalent territory to the settlements in their own as pre-67 borders. So the problem is that, unfortunately, so far, even on the Palestinian Authority side, they want a state, but they want a state not alongside Israel in peace, but instead of Israel. Until we get over that hurdle and a significant culture change amongst the Palestinian leadership, it's going to be very difficult to move forward.
All right, Colin Rubenstein, appreciate your time today. Thank you.